The Golden Arches are a permanent fixture of the global landscape. They operate in the background, deeply embedded in the daily routines of millions. But 8 decades ago, eating on the go looked entirely different. It was the era of the classic California drive-in. Waitstaff, known as car hops, took orders directly at the car window, managing heavy plates and fragile glassware in a slow, labor-intensive process. 2 brothers, Richard and Maurice McDonald, ran one of the most profitable drive-ins in San Bernardino. The money was good, but they identified a rigid ceiling. Their massive menu and slow turnaround times were a bottleneck, tapping the volume of customers they could process in a day. In 1948, they executed a drastic pivot. They shut down their bustling restaurant, fired the waitstaff, threw out the plates and silverware, and slashed their 25-item menu down to just the essentials: hamburgers, fries, and drinks. They traded consumer variety for raw mechanical efficiency. By stripping away every unnecessary variable, the brothers engineered the blueprint for the modern fast food industry. This diagram illustrates what the brothers called the speedy service system. They mapped out their new kitchen on a tennis court before building it, choreographing cooks like factory workers on an assembly line. One grilled the meat, another dressed the bun, another wrapped it. As this timer tracks, a standard meal required a 20-minute wait. The new assembly line turned out a custom hamburger in exactly 15 seconds. The public initially rejected it. Customers pulled into the parking lot, waited for a car hop, and drove away in frustration when no one came. But that friction vanished as soon as people realized they could walk directly to a counter, pay a mere 15 cents, and receive their food instantly. Competitors scrambled to copy the system, and offers to franchise poured in. Yet, Richard and Maurice actively resisted expanding. They enjoyed a quiet, wealthy life in California and had no desire to take on the operational headaches of managing a national chain. Designing a production engine solves the problem of speed, but scaling that engine to cover the globe requires a ruthless, obsessive ambition the brothers simply did not possess. That ambition belonged to Ray Kroc. In 1954, Kroc was a 52-year-old traveling salesman struggling to move milkshake mixers. When a single restaurant in San Bernardino ordered 8 of his machines at once, curiosity drove him across the country to see the operation for himself. Kroc stood in the parking lot, astounded. He watched massive crowds move with total fluidity, fed by a kitchen that operated with the relentless rhythm of a metronome. He saw a national empire where the brothers saw a local burger stand. After intense negotiations, Kroc convinced Richard and Maurice to let him take their system on the road, acting as their exclusive national franchising agent. But his contract was a financial trap. The brothers agreed to a structure where Kroc kept a meager 1.4% of a franchise's total revenue. He was soon working 80 hours a week, handling the logistics of expansion while spiraling toward personal bankruptcy. Meanwhile, new locations with striking golden arches were popping up across the country, generating massive revenue for the independent store operators. The brand's physical footprint was thriving, while the man orchestrating the expansion couldn't afford to take a salary. Rapid physical expansion and a popular product will destroy a company if the underlying financial architecture is flawed. McDonald's was growing far faster than Kroc could afford to manage it. The rescue came from a financial expert named Harry Sonnenborn. He analyzed Kroc's ledger and realized immediately that skimming pennies off hamburger sales would never generate the capital needed to conquer the market. Sonnenborn's alternative strategy formed a separate entity, Franchise Realty Corporation, which quietly purchased the land underneath every future restaurant. They subleased it to franchisees at a markup. Rental income flowed directly to Kroc's real estate company, entirely bypassing the brothers' original contract. Owning the land provided dictatorial leverage. If an operator failed Kroc's standards for quality, service, and cleanliness, he didn't just cancel their agreement, he evicted them from the property. Flush with this new real estate capital, Kroc held the upper hand. In 1961, he bought out Richard and Maurice McDonald for $2.7 million in cash, securing total control and effectively erasing the founders from the empire they designed. By 1961, the company's true nature was clear. It was a real estate syndicate that happened to sell hamburgers. Under Kroc's ownership, operations chief Fred Turner standardized every movement. He exported the exact same rigorous American system to foreign markets, ensuring the workflow remained identical in Tokyo as it was in Des Plaines. The international demand was staggering. The brand breached cultural barriers across Europe and Asia, turning a standardized meal into an object of massive consumer frenzy. But becoming a ubiquitous corporate giant made the company a prime target for exploitation. In the 1990s, an organized crime network infiltrated the company's famous Monopoly promotion, rigging the system and stealing tens of millions of dollars in prize money. By the early 2000s, the brand faced a severe public reckoning. Rising national obesity rates and documentaries targeting their portion sizes turned the company's efficiency into a public health liability, directly threatening their image. This is the double-edged sword of corporate scale. The same ubiquity that generates billions in revenue ensures that every controversy becomes a high-profile societal lightning rod. To survive the backlash, the corporation executed a strategic pivot. They eliminated the supersize options, instituted nutritional transparency on their packaging, and redesigned their aging architecture. They localized their menus, introducing vegetarian options in India and specialized items in Japan. Yet through all these regional adaptations, the underlying real estate engine remained unchanged. Today, that system supports a network of over 40,000 locations. It feeds tens of millions of people daily, functioning as a continuous, self-sustaining loop of commerce. The McDonald brothers designed a high-volume system for a single lot in San Bernardino. Ray Kroc and his team translated that local logic into a global infrastructure, driven by calculated, systemic ambition. The McDonald's empire demonstrates a core law of modern capitalism. The efficiency of the delivery system is what ultimately determines the scale of the success.